Hello, and welcome to the ohmTown Daily News Show. Today is June 2nd, 2024, Season 3, Episode 154. I am
Dramatic
Merowat.
pause.
Above me is this visualizer for the sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, hometown citizens. Please
And
stick with us.
we are experiencing mental and technical difficulties. Today we're going to be talking about Arctic jellyfish, a vaccine against H5N1. Abba gathers to be knighted. Hit and Run Airpod, a new lightsaber, a cucumber recall, hybrid vehicles, and the Ford CEO, which is the weirdest Harry Potter book. Fern with a Thicc Genome, new AI chips, and some animals just can't sleep. That and more. It's all powered by ohmTown.com. So go over, become a citizen, and it'll help us out. Also, go over to YouTube and like and subscribe, and be sure to like videos over there, please. And come over and hang out here at Twitch. I'm streaming to both Twitch and to YouTube. And I'm pointing this way because one monitor. Anyway, see you on the other side. Hello once more. You want to... Oh. Oops, I did it again.
Oh no, you're gonna get a strike for that.
Like, I completely messed all of this up because what I did was I didn't copy everything into the interface. God.
It's okay.
It's not okay. It's never okay. Anyway, if you type in exclamation ODNS into the chat, it'll pull up all of the links that we're going to be talking about, and maybe I'll just do that. I'll drag them from the chat over to where we are. But so the way that it works over in ohmTown is we get a little snippet from the news source. We don't take the whole thing, and we don't screen scrape or anything like that. It's all provided by the sources. But when you click on visit the source, you get taken over there. I'm only going to say this once. The next show, which is right after this one, is the continuity report, and I'll have it all properly set up. Otherwise, the sentient AI from the future likes to tase me with a little mini bot. It's like a Roomba, but it has a taser attachment.
That would be a good combination.
All right, Satan. I don't think so. The first article, though, is chilling forecast: jellyfish set to dominate Arctic waters by 2050. Arctic waters.
You know, of all the things I would be worried about in the Arctic would not include jellyfish.
Not going to be jellyfish. Yeah, I became a scuba diver, and one of the things that I wanted to do was ice dives in the Arctic. And guess what?
You weren't planning for jellyfish.
I wasn't planning for jellyfish, and I also never got a chance to dive the Arctic waters. But maybe by 2050, when I'll be 5,000 years old.
Well, there'll be warmer waters, and you'll get to see jellyfish. Maybe too close.
New AWI research reveals that jellyfish in the Arctic Ocean are benefiting from climate change and expanding further north. Climate change is apparently exerting immense pressure, much like my inability to prep for the show properly. The article is by, oh my god, am I really going to say all of that? Anyway, it's over at scitechdaily.com. It's written by...
Look at the business cards.
I know. The name plaque is like 3 desks wide. Alfred Wegener Institute, Helmholtz Center for Polar and Marine Research. Whew.
Wow. And that's just the location. That's not the person who is doing the research.
maybe it is Alfred Wegener. Did you just assume the PhD researcher? Wow.
No, this is an institution name.
Oh, well, never mind. Well, I mean, it could be that same person that's doing it, and they named the thing after themselves. You know how?
That's another discussion.
It's a whole other thing, I suppose. Yeah. So the role of jellyfish in the marine. Jellyfish play an important part in the marine food web, explains Dmitry Pantukin. I'm going to say that. A postdoctoral researcher in Arctic jellies, RGel, a junior research group specializing in Arctic jellyfish at the Alfred Wegener Institute, Helmholtz Center for Polar and Marine Research, aka AWI. Now that climate change is putting more stress on marine organisms, it can often give the gelatinous zooplankton a leg up on their competitors for food like fish. This in turn affects the entire food web and ultimately the fish themselves. Many types of jellyfish feed on fish larvae and eggs, which can slow or prevent the recovery of fish populations already under pressure. So, in a nutshell, they're saying that in the Journal of Limnology and Oceanography that Arctic fish populations are going to suffer because jellyfish species are growing in population, and the areas in which the jellyfish would normally populate is now further north into these formerly Arctic ocean waters. So maybe in the future there won't be as many cold water fish, not only because it's warmer water, but because of predation by jellyfish eating the eggs and what else did it? Larvae? Yeah, fish larvae and eggs, which I didn't know they were called larvae, but okay.
I didn't either.
As such, anyone interested in how fish, an important food source for all of us, will develop in the future needs to keep an eye on jellyfish. And
I'm watching you, jellyfish.
I'm watching you, fish. Just move a little bit slower. I want some sushi. All right. Well, I guess
we'll have to have lab-grown fish now, too.
True. Okay. Wait, the second article was the last one posted by the second to last one posted by the bot. Come on, bot.
Okay, but they're still in there, so that's all that matters at the moment.
So let's go on over to, and I hope that they all work because I didn't check them right before the show. But anyway, innocuous looking fern wins. No, that's not the right one. Oh man, everything is all wonky. We're going to fix this. Yeah, they're all in different orders.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second. Okay, so the next one is actually the vaccine, so we're going to go there. So this next article is over in Technology Today. Penn Medicine develops potent mRNA vaccine against lethal H5N1 virus. An experimental mRNA vaccine proves highly effective against H5N1 in animal studies, offering hope for rapid pandemic response. So again, we click that link and we get taken over to the source. The University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine is the source. I don't know if this picture is just a regular old vial and a needle and has nothing to do with it, or if what they're implying here is that.
Right. I mean, it looks like a generic or almost like a stock photo, but It does sound like that's actually their own vaccine.
It looks like it doesn't have a label on it, so I find this sus. Anyway, researchers from Perelman School of Medicine at the University of Pennsylvania have developed an experimental mRNA vaccine against avian influenza virus H5N1, of which we have heard a sharp uptick in human cases.
Yeah, we've had 3 human cases, and the last one included respiratory system symptoms, not systems.
Yeah. Well, respiratory systems.
Symptoms in the systems.
So, all around, it seems like it's evolving to the point where it's becoming airborne, and or it's being it's a pathogen that can be passed on via breathing. Because this is the first one where a human has exhibited problems with the respiratory system. So thankfully, they look like they've got some experimental vaccine, and hopefully people don't do something stupid like go, I'm not going to get a vaccine. So Scott Hensley, PhD, a professor of microbiology at the Perelman School of Medicine, highlighted the flexibility of RNA technology in vaccine development. The mRNA technology allows us to be much more agile in developing vaccines. We can start creating an mRNA vaccine within hours of sequencing a new viral strain with pandemic potential. And there are different types of vaccinations, and not all of them have this mRNA mechanism. But isn't
that something that was kind of perfected during COVID?
Yeah. Yep. So collaboration with historical context, they refer to before 2020, experts thought that the influenza virus posed the greatest risk of causing a pandemic, and we had limited options for creating a vaccine that had if that had happened. Said Weissman, COVID-19 showed us the power of mRNA-based vaccines as a tool to protect humans from emerging viruses quickly. And we are better prepared now to respond to a variety of viruses with pandemic potential, including influenza. So I am hoping that every pandemic that's going to come down the pike because of climate change and human hubris will allow us to create a virus vaccine, and by way of this vaccine, at least keep me healthy. If you want to be a complete goober and not get a vaccine, fine, but stay out of society while you fight the good fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, number one, we need to develop the vaccines, but number two, people need to actually get vaccinated.
Yeah. Penn State researchers developed an mRNA vaccine targeting a specific subtype of the H5N1 virus that is circulating widely in birds and cattle. While it rarely infects humans, some fear that the virus may evolve and cause a human pandemic, which is going to be horribly destructive. The researchers found that the vaccine elicited a strong antibody and T-cell response in mice and ferrets. What's more, the animals maintained high levels of antibodies even a year after vaccination. Additionally, the researchers found that vaccinated animals who were subsequently infected with H5N1 cleared the virus more rapidly and displayed fewer symptoms than unvaccinated controls. Look at that. Yay.
So that's good initial results.
And all of the animals survived following the H5N1 infection, whereas all the unvaccinated animals died. So
yeah, I was gonna say H5N1 so far looks very virulent.
Yeah,
right?
Very destructive. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So let's keep going. The next article is Abba gathers to be knighted. Look at that. Abba fans had not necessarily expected to see the group together again after previous statements that they had no further plans to reunite after recording a 2021 comeback album. But the prospect of being knighted brought all four members back together again Friday to their native Sweden. So click the link, takes us over to Variety. Chris Willman is the author of this at variety.com. Look at that. So I recently went back prior to this knighting. No, back in time actually, and watched their multiple runs in the strata of Euro.
Is it Eurovision?
Eurovision, yes.
Competition.
Yeah, the music competition. And it's surreal watching ABBA way back then. Mainly because it seems like the music, it just would never exist nowadays. But it is a staple of musical entertainment, nowadays, you pretty much can't go anywhere without an Abba song, and
Right,
one
and
in
it's
particular.
very widely known
Yeah,
across generations.
I won't be able to say their names. Not with any respect. You know what? Screw it. I'll just say it. Bjorn Ulvaeus, Annie Fried Lindstad, Lingstad, Agnetha Folkskog, and Benny Anderson. Thank you, Benny. Pictured above, left to right, we're receiving the Royal Order of Vasa, which I'm probably pronouncing incorrectly. But hey, I'm going to give it the old Harvard try, and it's horrible because I never went to Harvard. Anyway, establishing them as commanders of the first class for very outstanding efforts in Swedish and international music life. Ta-da!
Not quite sure what that means, but that sounds like a high honor.
And I'm maybe one or two of the four were high at the time. Who knows? The particular knighthood that the four members were being honored with in Stockholm had been dormant for half a century until the granting of knighthoods to ordinary Swedish citizens was revived in 2022. Yeah. All those other Swedish citizens are just nothing more than plebes not worthy of knighthood.
I mean, it's pretty cool that they knight regular citizens, but wouldn't you be mad if your family had some superstar in the family who passed away in 2021 or something? They're like, nope, not knighting this person.
Nope, you're just a peon. Anyway, well, they got back together. So go and listen to Abba. Pour one out for them. Congratulations. The next article, I'm going to just keep on going. Hold on. Where is it? That's not right. Hold on. I got to find it. Okay, it's way down here. So this next article is actually a little sad, but hit and run driver busted by AirPod, lost after cyclist crashed through window. Suspect's vehicle was tracked by an AirPod that fell into it after the accident. And I'm going to click the link. I don't know if it's going to work or not. It's an Apple Insider one. So Charles Martin.
This is one you might want to be a little light on some of the details. I did look ahead at this one.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll skim. So and I don't even have to go really into the article. I'll just give credit where credit is due. The article is over at appleinsider.com, and it's written by Charles Martin. And essentially, the vehicle, it was a hit and run. The victim was a 15-year-old, apparently, right? Who rode his bike to a gas station and got hit by the car. The AirPod that the boy had entered the vehicle, and the car drove off. And so once informed of the crash, was there something else?
That's okay. We don't probably need the other detail.
Right. So once Nichols' girlfriend went to the scene of the crash, located his wallet, phone, watch, and AirPods case, went to the hospital, but noticed that only one AirPod was in the case, and they used Find My to locate the car, which is awesome.
So, absolutely. I don't think we've heard of an AirPod yet doing this. Although maybe we had one story about an AirPod, but certainly not in this context.
Not about an. I don't know about an AirPod. It's always the AirTags that we're catching.
Mm-hmm.
So the person later confessed to the police that he fled the scene because he had been previously jailed on drug charges, and the person, now a 49-year-old, now faces up to 15 years for allegedly failing to stop at the scene of a crash with great bodily injury, which is a felony offense. So went from 0 to 60 to jail. So all because of technology, when really what should have happened is this dipshit should have not ran into a cyclist.
I mean, we're not tied to AirPods, but if this isn't an endorsement of getting AirPods, I don't know what
Yeah.
is.
Get some type of tracker, and put it. There's various ways that you can attach these things, and a lot of people just don't know it. I mean, thieves, really, like smarter thieves, will figure out something, but something is amiss because eventually the tracker actually says something is being tracked. I mean, it's good and it's bad. The reason why the tracker exists now, that notifies that, hey, there's a tracker near you, is because people were using it for nefarious purposes, because people are shit.
Because we can't have nice things.
We can't have nice things. That's right. Okay, so let me do something here. Oh, goodness, come on. Okay, so let's go on to the next article, and the next article is a new lightsaber. I'm not sure what that's all about, but apparently there is a new lightsaber. It's over in the continuity report. Star Wars is introducing a new lightsaber that breaks all the rules while already introducing wild light whip. The wild light whip. Oh. Yeah. So there is this lightsaber in the form of a whip.
Who carries that?
I don't know. The Acolyte creator Leslie Headland reveals that a brand new lightsaber was made for the upcoming series. The Disney Plus show will be introducing a new era to viewers, as it takes place during the High Republic, some 50,100 years before the Skywalker saga. The new series will follow the Jedi investigation of mysterious murders and the rise of the Sith from the shadows. The Acolyte's cast is led by Carrie-Anne Moss, Daphne Keane, Amandla Stenberg. Is that correct? Amandla?
Probably not.
I don't know. We'll see on the other side. And Lee Jung Jae. And we'll have a 2-episode premiere on June 4th. June the 4th. May June the 4th be with you? No, I don't think that's
Why
right.
didn't they get it for May the 4th?
So this article is over at Screen Rant. Jerome Cassio.
It is Amandla.
Amandla, good.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. I have not. Well, I may know the actor, but I may not know the name, which I don't know. It's kind of par for me. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I like the idea, but they say that the Acolyte creator Headland unveils that a new lightsaber was created for the upcoming Star Wars series. I hope that they're not actually. So there's this lightsaber whip, which just doesn't make any sense.
That was apparently initially used by the Night Sisters of Dathomir.
Okay, yeah, okay,
but that's not the only one who's used it.
Yeah, and we've already met the Dathomir Light Sisters, or
Night Sisters.
The Night Sisters, yeah. So I'm not sure what is actually gonna come out of this, right? I don't want to really be spoilery either. It's setting the High Republic, where the Jedi are at their prime, is something viewers haven't seen yet. That makes the series stand out from the shows so far released on Disney Plus and everything, because none of the series shows the Jedi at their prime. They were already losing influence in 1, 2, and 3. Right. So we're going to see the very beginnings, apparently, or at least the higher part of them.
In fact, in some of the shows, right, they're beyond losing influence and actively being kind of tracked or hunted.
Yeah, in 1, 2, and 3, the Sith have risen to power to the point where they're influencing universal politics, for crying out loud. So a purple light whip has also been teased in the Acolyte trailers, but to me that doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. We'll have to see how this thing plays out, because I mean, even if you suspend disbelief about lightsabers and kyber crystals and Jedi and all of this kind of stuff, at least they're not sitting there testing people for midichlorians anymore, which was such a stupid play. Ugh. Anyway, the content for Star Wars' new show that's been revealed so far already teased something that distinguishes itself from the Skywalker saga. Headlines reveal that a brand new lightsaber that pushes the boundaries of the weapon was created. Adds to the what pushes the boundaries of the weapon was created. Adds to this whole change, distinguishing itself from the Skywalker saga. It's written really weird.
Yeah.
This piece of information is telling in that the Acolyte creator isn't afraid to get creative with the source material while treating it with the grace and reverence it deserves. But if you wander too far from the source material, people are going to hate it.
Oh, people will be in an uproar.
Now,
you can't deviate from canon.
Not too far. And I'm not really deep into Star Wars, but I love Star Wars just like I love Star Trek. I love everything high tech, and fantasy and sci-fi and pretty much everything except reality. And so I will what was it? Mythbusters. I disregard your reality and substitute
my own or something like that. Yes.
So yeah, I think that's going to be what I say as well. Not really. I don't really say that. But anyway, I think it's apropos for me. But if they're going to use a whip, I hope that there is some canon back there where you can sit there and go, yeah, it's founded in something of reality. Because here, the last time I saw a whip that had anything to do with like an energy source of some kind, there's two. Johnny Mnemonic had the monofilament whip from Cyberpunk. And that actually had two ends, a beginning and a start and a stop point where you can hold on to it. And the other time that I've ever seen a whip was actually in one of the Iron Man movies, where the guy hooked up an electrical whip of extremely high energy and totally jacked up the Iron Man suits by hitting it with this energy whip during a race like Monaco or something like that. And so those are the only times I've seen like a high energy whip kind of a thing. It doesn't make any sense to have a whip.
No, I mean, the whole thing about Star Wars is the lightsaber.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like it's like tinker with almost everything else beyond that, but don't touch that. Other than just making it cooler, right?
Yep. So I guess we'll see what happens. It's right around the corner, only 2 days from now, and we'll be able to see the Acolyte, Star Wars, the Acolyte, June 4th.
Is that going to be live action?
Yeah. It's not animated.
I mean, the pictures look like live action. I just couldn't remember.
Yep. Okay, let's go on. The next one is we're going to be talking about a cucumber recall. I know it's shocking. Cucumber recall in 14 states as warning issued to customers, and I fought the urge to say issued to cucumbers. Your days are numbered. A Florida company initiated the recall after the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture informed the firm that their cucumbers are limp. I
don't think that's what the alert was.
True. They tested positive for salmonella. So when we click the link, we're going to get taken over to Newsweek, and please don't have any video that's going to compromise my ability to actually post this somewhere. Khalida Rahman over at Newsweek.com put this article together. The company that's based in Delray said the recalled cucumbers were shipped to retail distribution centers, wholesalers, and food service distributors in Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia from May 17th through May 21st. And it has to be a fit of no shit news. The cucumbers are dark green, approximately 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter, and 5 to 9 inches long, according to the notice. Mini cucumbers and English cucumbers are not included in the recall. Just your
You know,
average.
do you think somebody reading the article like doesn't know what a cucumber is? I mean, or are they just like, I don't have enough details to round out the story?
Okay, have you had a pickle? You've had a cucumber.
Right. But I bet most people don't even realize they're connected.
Wait.
Right, exactly. Spoiler alert.
The hell did you just say? Excuse me, what did you just say? There's a mic right there. I'm not talking into my crotch. I went like that. I was talking down.
Okay, I don't think we were worried about that until you announced that.
Thank you. Although these cucumbers are unlikely to be found in the marketplace, anyone with the recalled product should not consume it and should destroy and discard it or return it to the place of purchase for a refund, says a notice from the Fresh Start Produce Sales company. Consumers should check with their retailer or place of purchase to determine whether the recalled cucumbers were sold where they shop, which basically amounts to walking up to somebody and going, is this a cucumber that's infected with salmonella? And I'm sure they're going to chomp at the bit to say, yeah.
Well, and unless it still has a sticker or a label, I mean, they're not going to be able to tell.
Right. And particularly not somebody sitting at the register. Anyway, so if you think that I don't know, how are you going to know? If you are in any of these 14 states, you might want to go and
you've eaten a cucumber recently.
You might be infected with salmonella. All right. Let's keep going. I'm sorry for the delay. It's just such a boob move for me. I usually have this all prepped nice and ready to go. We're just going to go straight to the source because I'm delaying stuff here. So this article is over at autoblog.com. It's a Reuters article, but range extended EVs seem to be on the table, according to this article. Hybrid vehicles aren't just an EV bridge, according to Ford CEO Farley.
Well, what does that mean? Are we supposed to be drawn to hybrid, or are we supposed to be drawn to EV without going to hybrid first?
Well, I think what they're saying is that this is the technology, not that it is a transitional technology. And that's kind of what I've been saying. This is the bridge to EV technology, but it isn't. It's actually a phase where until EV technology rises to the level of efficiency and effectiveness that we experience with ICE engines, hybrid is really where it's at. Wait, I
expected you to make your phase statement. I couldn't think of what it was.
My phase statement? Oh, it's not a phase, Mom?
Yes.
It's a hybrid, Mom. It's not a phase.
There you go.
I'm never switching to EVs, Mom. Hybrid is not a phase. Anyway, we should stop. Farley says we should stop talking about it as a transitional technology. Set of hybrids at the Bernstein Analyst Conference on Thursday. Plug-in hybrids, which include a small battery that can be used for shorter distances, may not be relevant in a few years, Farley said. However, range-extended hybrids are an important technology in the industry's future. And all of this muddies what a hybrid engine or a hybrid power system really is. But this is part of the problem. We need a bigger battery and we need a powerful ICE engine that complement each other to extend range, and that will put the longer tail on oil. Gas will go up in price eventually, but at least we won't have to be using it so much. Now, here's the real
But then it'll drive demand toward hybrids and EVs too.
Correct. Yep.
If that happens.
Yep. And so you use the ICE engine to generate power that goes into the battery, and with greater efficiency outputs it to the tires with instant torque, instant on, instead of having to spool up at a ratio of 8-to-1. That's how inefficient ICE engines are. 8 parts of power go in, you get 1 mechanical part out. Whereas electric motors are much more efficient. The moment that you energize them, you take off. the worst case scenario would be you deliver overall just too much power to the wheels, and you create a burnout, or something happens with the motor or wiring or whatever. But the same thing can happen with ICE engines. But the real issue here is you can fill up a hybrid ICE electric motor vehicle in 5 minutes. Fill it up, and it'll start charging the car, and then you drive.
Right. I mean, it eliminates the problems that you have with just pure EVs, right?
Yeah. And that is the next riff of that would be fast swap batteries. And I still get people poo-pooing the idea of fast swap batteries. I had one person say, and only one in my last short, they'll never do it. And the last time they did it was like 1835. And I said, well, Elon Musk did it 10 years ago and then completely wet the bed about it. So Ford is aiming to quadruple hybrid sales over the next several years, executives have said. It has pulled back on some of its EV investments and pushed back production of EVs in Canada and the US. We don't need big EVs, we need effective EVs. And Farley says, we believe that we have to get to that fitness level as soon as possible. They're talking about the automaker should be pushing to profitably produce battery-powered models quickly, and that EVs should not be subsidized, which is really weird for the Ford.
I mean, isn't that the way to incentivize
purchases?
Greater innovation, greater adaptation.
Yep. I think that the first company that says you don't have to pay for the battery is going to be the first one that dominates the market.
Exactly. Do you want to predict who that'll be? Who will win the EV wars?
Yeah, if anybody does, it would be because they get, it would probably be Ford, because they'd probably get federal grants to offset this. Farley and other automotive executives have said software and subscription service will be key profit drivers in the future, which is just kind of sickening, because what subscription service should I have to get with my freaking car?
Right. Is that going to be the equivalent of something like the battery swap? I mean, I know it doesn't really exist right now, but...
Yeah. I mean, that's really what it has to be. You buy the car, you pay for charging at a higher rate than, what it is right now, but your car is anywhere from $5,000 to $14,000, $15,000 less because you never own the battery. That way, when your car starts losing its capabilities at a certain level, it goes in and gets recycled. It's part of the operating costs of the enterprise. You get a new battery. Your car is back to or a refurbished battery that extends its range further than what it was now, increases its effective and efficiency. Yeah. That's pretty much where we're at. And again, if a company figures out how to offset that cost, because, maybe I can do some research and find out how much is the renewed battery worth. How much is reconditioning costing, and how much is the battery before reconditioning worth? And with that little triad of numbers, how much you're recovering, what it is that it's costing you, and then what that sale is at the end. Yeah, interesting, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, that's part of the problem as a consumer, is that we don't get a lot of the data.
Yeah, exactly.
And we just hear the kind of the marketing speak, right? Like, oh, you should go have a fill in the blank. Depends on who's marketing, right?
Full self-driving.
EV, hybrid, or ICE, yeah.
Full self-driving already exists. You're going to get 400 miles on this car. No, you're not. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going, though. This next article is over in the Mobile Channel. Innocuous-looking Fern wins world record for largest genome. I was just talking with the sentient AI from the future about this innocuous looking fern having a thick genome. I like big genomes and I cannot lie. So when you click the link,
this one has much beyond what other plants and animals have, right?
Dramatically more. It has the largest genome. The nearest competitor, I think, is some like a jellyfish or something like that, and it's like a 70 chromosomes less than this genome. So Daniel Lawler over at phys.org put this article together. Daniel Lawler, why do I know the name? Maybe it's from here. Anyway,
maybe
the new
other articles.
Yeah, maybe. So the New Caledonian fern. Yes, I'm gonna try it. Temesipterus oblanceolata. There. Yeah, sure. Has more than 50 times more DNA packed into the nucleus of its cells than humans do. If the DNA in one of the fern cells, which are just a fraction of a millimeter wide, were unraveled, it would stretch out 106 meters or 350 feet. Stood upright, and they give a bunch of stuff. Anyway, it has 160 gigabase pairs, which is the measurement of DNA's length, because you can't just have a dangling base.
Like you gotta have a pair, right?
Yeah, it has to link to something. So the human genome is a relatively puny 3.1 base pair, gigabase pairs, and this one has 160 gigabase pairs. And they say if our DNA was unraveled, it would be 2 meters long. So the amount of information that is stored in this thing could be a life changer for people, because they're going to be researching this. Why does this exist? How does it exist?
Yeah, and is it did it deviate from everything else on the I can't think what I'm trying to say, but like on scientific classification, like is it on its own branch? Why is it different than everything else out there?
If I remember right, there's a suggestion that it had broken off from the evolutionary process and was isolated, and so there wasn't anything that was causing it to have to mutate away from having this size of a genome. And so the problem here is now it's been discovered. We don't know how many are actually out there, what the full scope of the population is of this plant. But it is a disadvantage. They talk about it in here because it takes more energy to maintain a large genome. It isn't advantageous to have a large genome because you have to consume so much more energy to do all of the protein generation that facilitates manipulating the genome. So for bigger plants, bigger cells. Go ahead.
I was going to say this will be interesting because it might give us some insight into older plants and perhaps climate clues and just other information even beyond the DNA.
Yeah, so I think I found my spirit animal in terms of DNA researcher. Leech, I think is their name. I need to find their full name. They just keep getting referred to as Leech throughout this thing, except way up at the top, right?
Oh, Ilya.
Is that their name, Ilya? I don't even see it.
Yeah, up at the top.
Oh yeah, okay, Ilya Leech, yeah, Leitch, a researcher at UK's Royal Botanic Gardens, KEW, told AFP that the team was really surprised to find something even bigger than Paris japonica, which is the preceding largest genome holder. And so they say something here that I always say. So what's all the DNA for? There could still be bigger genomes somewhere out there, but Leach says that this fern must be near the limit. Quote, I cannot understand how an organism with all this DNA really functions, she said. That's an end quote there. But then the article continues on. Scientists do not know what most of the DNA does in such huge genomes. We don't even know in ours. And a lot of scientists refer to it as junk DNA, but Leach says what I say. That's probably our own ignorance. Maybe it does have a function and we have yet to find it. So
I think that's the first scientist I've heard to say that.
yeah, I agree. Jonathan Wendell, a botanist, a botanist at the Iowa State University, not involved in the research, agreed that it was astonishing how much DNA the fern was packing, which just makes me giggle. I'm a dumbass. Anyway, without getting into all the sciencey stuff, one person was heard saying this fern is thick. And that person would be me. Anyway, a great mystery is the meaning of all this variation. How do genomes grow and shrink, and what are the evolutionary causes and consequences of these phenomena? All right, well, we're just going to have to go on to the next article.
You heard it here first. Mayor Watt quoting himself.
Oh, I'm so in trouble. Okay, so the next article is all about new AI chips. And it's, of course, NVIDIA CEO. Some people refer to it, call it NVIDIA, but I think it's NVIDIA. Anyway, CEO Jensen Huang, or Hong, I'm not sure how they pronounce their last name. I think it's Huang. Announced that new AI chip architecture dubbed Rubin ahead of the Computex tech conference in Taipei. So click the link. We get taken over to CNBC.com. Rebecca Picciotto put the article together, and it has key points. NVIDIA unveiled its next generation AI chips just months after announcing its previous model. The quick turnaround highlights the competitive frenzy of the AI chip market and NVIDIA sprint to keep its top spot and I think interaction with aliens. Just kidding.
That is not in the article.
That is not in the article. And CEO Jensen Huang has pledged to release new AI chip technology in a 1-year basis, faster than the company's previous 2-year timeline, which is actually based off of I think it was Intel that set that new every 2 kind of mandate, which is really a business model to prop up one's own sustained long-term growth. Because if you do this, new chips every year, people have to spend that money to stay on top of things. While this is new, that's great. The evolution of these chips, though, are people really willing to pay that money again, year after year after year? I don't know. But if it's new...
Well, the companies like it, right? They can keep selling upgrades and new products.
Sure. But these are AI chips. These are systems that are costing $50,000 for a module that gets put into a network of computers.
That's true. That's more at a business level, I suppose.
Research and analysis type of stuff. This isn't like a home user, even though home computers are getting
unless you bought
expensive.
the Cheyenne servers or something.
Yeah, rub it in. I was this close. I was actually 8 months away. If they would have put that thing on auction next year, then maybe I would have been able to actually bid on it. Anyway, Rubin comes months after the March announcement of the upcoming Blackwell model, which is still in production and expected to ship to customers later in 2024. The announcement of Rubin appears to quicken the company's already accelerated pace of AI chip advancement. So 1-year rhythm is what he's calling it. On Sunday, the company had previously been operating in a slower 2-year update. So keep it going. That's fine. I mean, I have absolutely no problem with AI until it gets put into a computer, or I should say into a robot that...
Creepy bot.
Yeah. Shares of NVIDIA were relatively flat on Friday's market close, with shares trading at 1,096. If only somebody held on to their AMD shares. Or NVIDIA shares, not AMD, but NVIDIA shares.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. We have just one more article, and we are done. It's some animals can't sleep. Poor animals. So why some animals are getting insomnia? A wild boar and its piglet rest in a pile of dirt is pictured when we follow this link. It's over at vox.com. Excessive heat is indeed bad for sleep. It disrupts our body's natural cool down process that helps us sleep, but luckily for many of us, we can crank up the air conditioner or turn on a fan. Wild animals don't have those luxuries, so don't be alarmed. They might show up in your house and climb into bed next to you.
That might be startling.
So Benji Jones over at Vox.com put this article together, and it says scientists put sleep trackers on a bunch of wild pigs. The results reveal a troubling trend. They have insomnia. A pair of new studies on animals in Europe shows that extreme heat impairs their sleep too, often significantly so. Wild boars in the Czech Republic, for instance, slept 17% less during hot summer days compared to colder months, one of the papers found, potentially leading to sleep deprivation. You don't want a pissed off wild boar.
No, you definitely don't, because they come across as kind of cranky on a good day.
Yeah, it's like me without coffee. The other showed that deer fawns in Ireland similarly had shorter and worse quality sleep on scorching days. So climate change is screwing with animals as well as animals. So we are all really animals just because we have the ability to talk.
Right. Do you think animals have similar tactics for sleeping, like counting? What do they count?
Taking the sheets from the other person.
Well, I
blankets,
was
you know?
thinking like people count sheep,
They count
but I
people.
suspect sheep don't count sheep.
They count people tripping over the top fence bar, you know, like, trip, trip. And like the woman that fell out. What was it? She was like stomping grapes or something like that, and she fell out and knocked the wind out of herself and made this god awful sound. And that's what all of the sheep are doing. You know, oh, that's much more relaxing compared to us sitting there like these soft sheep jumping over the thing all nice.
Very chill.
Yeah. Well, if they're gonna make me jump over a fence, then I'm gonna make them trip and fall and knock their wind out. I'm dumb. Anyway, these studies point to a novel and potentially ecosphere-spanning way that climate change can impact animals, says Sean O'Donnell, a biology professor at Drexel University who was not involved in either study but told Vox by mail, which is kind of funny, you know, like don't talk to anybody in the study.
Well, I think they always, like, because it was the same thing as the last article, right? They reached out to somebody else in the field that had nothing to do with the study. I think they're just trying to round it out.
That's right. So climate change, y'all, sucks. Okay, so because of the way that everything went down for this episode, we don't have to get in the party bus because we just blipped right back to it. Boonk. And we are at the front page. I'm not going to refresh it because who knows what's going to be on this front page. I had to vet this front page. But just like life, there's some good and there's bad news in the news stream. Take it all in stride and treat it like a be like a duck. Let everything just slide off your back, yeah, but paddle like hell under the water. All right. Anyway, I'm done. And so that means that the AI as well is done. I am Merwat, and the sentient AI isn't saying anything, and that's why the visualizer is just
okay. Right here.
Whoa. Ah. Whoa.
I'm still here.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for ohmTown Daily. We have 3 weekly shows up ahead.
Yeah, the next show is the Continuity Report, which talks about movies and streams, shows and stuff like that. And then Technology Today, which does a deeper dive, but I don't know how intellectually capable Merwat is today. And then Four Wheel Tech, which talks about cars. See you in about 15 minutes. Bye-bye. You you can't use the visualizer when I'm on the stream ending. And you still can't. Oh my goodness. Sentient AI.